Mhm.
Voice coming. Okay, now it is.
Yes, Bante, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so let us just very briefly review the practice. Okay, so we've started this morning with Buddhanusati, using the 9 Buddha qualities, which we're going to be going through again. And this is an exercise called samatha or samadhi meditation, aiming at quieting down and unifying the mind. But this type of practice, as opposed to something like mindfulness of breathing, where you just have one simple object, we have a variety of qualities, in this case, 9 qualities of the Buddha, and we run the mind through these 9 qualities, bringing to mind each of these qualities, sort of focusing upon it, and generating, I call this, reverence, esteem, and veneration for the Buddha in terms of these qualities. And as we are practicing in this way, gradually it helps to quiet the mind down, to dispel greed, hatred, and delusion, because we're focusing on the person, the Buddha, who is utterly free from greed, hate, and delusion. And then through that esteem and veneration, gradually it brings joy into the mind. And then that joy, through repeated contemplation, is to be intensified, gradually intensified, until it turns into a stronger delight and even to a kind of bliss. And it's through that joy, delight, and bliss that the mind will settle into a state of samadhi. So that is the basic method that we're using. And as you see, as we're going to go through this afternoon, we're going to be gradually simplifying the process, but I'm not going to go into those instructions yet, how to simplify the process, since first we want to get more familiar with the basic method of repeated contemplation of the 9 qualities. And now if anybody has any questions, I could devote just maybe about 10 minutes to take questions. And they have to be practical questions on this method of practice itself. As I said in the morning, not theoretical or doctrinal questions.
Bante, we have one question from
I can see where there's questions. So this is Punika, I think is the first one. And then you unmute. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, Bante. I just want to say thank you for having this very important retreat. I wanted to mention earlier you said seeing an image of the Buddha sitting in the lotus of the heart.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very powerful visual.
Yeah.
And it, for me, it generated and sustained the feeling of veneration for the Buddha. Yeah. And it was a very strong feeling. So I thought that was very good. I also want to ask a question.
Let me just comment on that before.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. People differ in their in their approaches, in their capacities, in their aptitudes. So some people who have a mind that inclines to be more visual can use that visualization of the Buddha. But what I would say is to keep the visualization in the background. The main point of this practice is not a visualization of the Buddha, but to get familiar with the qualities, the virtues of the Buddha. And so that's why we're running the mind through the qualities, and we focus on the qualities, but if it's helpful, you can keep a light mental image of the Buddha in the background of the mind.
Okay, I
Okay,
see.
go to the second point.
Thank you. I have a question regarding walking meditation.
Yeah.
I usually do walking meditation within a rectangular area. So when I come to a corner, I usually stop, take 3 mindful breaths,
Yeah.
turn, take another 3 mindful breaths, and then continue walking meditation.
Yeah.
Is that too disruptive, or should I just continue walking and not stop?
I would say to continue walking nonstop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it doesn't really matter that much.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Dayani? Dayani?
Unmute. Okay, thank you, Bante Nama Buddhaya. So the question is about the 9 qualities of Buddha. When we do this meditation, do we need to contemplate on all the 9 qualities, or we can just take a few of them, Bante?
At first, I want everybody to go through the 9 qualities. But as we go through, you'll see we're going to simplify by cutting down on qualities. But I will guide us in the simplification process. But for now, we keep all 9 qualities in mind at this point.
All right, thank you very much, Bante.
Okay, let's see. Next is Malati Virasuriya.
Bhante, my problem is a technical one. I cannot hear you very well. I'm here in Sri Lanka, but can the volume be increased? I'm at my maximum, but it's still faint.
Yeah, let me see. This is really a question for the technical side. You don't hear me very well.
I do hear you, but I have to put the maximum and not too, I can strain myself to hear you, but I wish it was a little louder, the volume is more.
Yeah, let me
Thank you.
just say, how about somebody else? Let's just say, Yvonne, say, for example, how is my volume?
Bante, your volume is just fine, not too low.
You have it on maximum.
Yes, I have it on maximum, but I can hear you and I can follow you.
Yeah.
But I have it on my maximum.
Excuse me, Bante, this is Jane. We
Yeah.
did have a problem with the audio a little earlier. I actually could not hear you, but I know Jason bumped up your microphone. But Dayani, if you can email the tech help account and we can see if we can help you so Bante can continue. So that address is baustechhelp@gmail.com. That's Baus, B-A-U-S, techhelp@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
Malati in Sri Lanka, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, I will send an email.
Okay.
Thank you.
And next, Yvonne.
Bante, we have one question from the internet. So
Yeah.
during the recollections of the quality of the Buddha, I can reflect on each of the Buddha's qualities. However, there seems to be a disconnect. I can't feel connection personally. What can I do, Bante?
I didn't get the last.
So
Over it again.
the person feels a disconnect and the person cannot feel the connection personally. what can he do, Bhante?
The person cannot feel the connection personally
With the practice.
with the practice.
So he could reflect, but he just could not feel anything.
I say just continue with the practice. Just keep on trying. We don't expect immediately to get success in a short time, but just continue to persist with the practice and just see how it goes. Some people will connect, some people will not connect so easily, but we want to try all these 4 meditation subjects.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Okay, Kenneth Diabru.
Hello, Bhante. Bhante, my struggle has been separate, like it seems like a lot of qualities do overlap. It happens in several places. Any advice you can give us on like how to separate some of the qualities? Like for example, Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati and Satta Deva Manussanam. Under Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati, unsurpassed trainer of persons to be tamed, but then teacher of gods and humans kind of falls, like it kind of melds through the two, like it kind of connects.
Not able to, I could hear it, but not so well.
Would it help if I spoke louder?
Yeah, let me use these earphones. That would make it easier for me. Okay, try. Okay, try.
Yeah,
okay,
yes,
you speak now. Okay.
Bhante, my question was some of the qualities seem to overlap with one another. For example, can you hear me, Bhante?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
For example, Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati and Satta Deva Manussanam.
Yeah.
They seem to overlap with each other. Any technical way that I could separate them? Because it seems to be melding from one to the other.
It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Certainly they do overlap and there's similarities. Sammasambuddho and Buddho seem to be very similar.
Yes.
Don't worry about it. Just focus on the specific translation of that expression and the way I explain it. Don't worry that there's some overlapping or similarity between them.
Sure, Bhante. Thank you.
Okay. Lilayati.
Try to unmute.
Okay.
Yeah, Bhante, when I walk in meditation, normally I chant Buddha Nusati.
Yeah.
In the pace, does it have to be slow or normal pace?
Does the walking have to be slow or normal pace?
Yes.
We're doing a little slower than normal walking. We're not doing the extremely slow type of walking as used within some of the modern Burmese Vipassana practice, style of practice. But we do a slow, but not excessively slow walking.
Yeah, because I've been practicing sometime in my daily walk. I chant Buddha Nusati and also try to reflect that qualities at the same time when I walk. Is that means that I'm doing the walking meditation?
Yeah, if you're doing walking and then you're turning over the qualities of the Buddha, it's maybe, if you're doing it in your daily life, maybe it's a half meditation. So it's sort of like building up a momentum that will carry over when you do a formal meditation practice. Then you have built up a kind of foundation by turning over the qualities of the Buddha during your normal everyday walk.
Yeah, I think it is some way it helps like it's stronger with the chanting, and then I remember that verse again and again. So yeah, that's why I try to practice it very slow, and then sometimes it maybe in one way it's a stronger have a connection, but if we can practice it in our daily, so it's the best.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that is good. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Susan of Singapore.
Hello, Bhante.
Yeah.
I was the person who sent in the email because I didn't want to speak up because I think email is more succinct. Anyway, my question is, as I reflect on the qualities of the Buddha, what I cannot do is I cannot find the affinity.
Cannot find what?
The affinity.
Affinity.
Yeah, that was my question. When
Yeah, maybe just keep on practicing, keep on doing the practice, and then over time an affinity or some connection will take place, will build up. Just keep on following along. And don't worry, oh, I can't get an affinity, I can't get a connection, but just throw yourself into the practice and do it. But try to keep the mindfulness. That's the key to the practice, is to focus on the qualities with mindfulness and let that sense of respect, esteem, and veneration for the Buddha arise in the heart. Okay, I'll have to take just one more question, then we'll have to go into the practice. So for now, we'll take Mark Dhammika. Mark? Oh, I don't see now. Okay, then Samantha.
Thank you, Bhante. I just want to clarify in the fifth, in the Buddhanussati about Loka Viddu, Buddha said Buddha in the knowledge of the minds and hearts of living beings of the world. Why was hearts mentioned? And is a conscious? I'm just getting confused whether the consciousness is in the mind or is it around the heart? You know, why was that actually Buddha was concerned about the heart?
This is an expression that I'm using. This isn't from the text, but it said that in English we would say that if I know what's going on deep in somebody's mind, I say that I'm knowing their heart, knowing what they're feeling, knowing their emotions.
Right.
Yeah, so it's the Buddha's knowing not only the thoughts of people, but also what are the qualities in the heart, whether it's greedy or angry or conceited, sort of those are qualities you could say of the heart. Or if the person has faith and devotion, those are qualities of the heart.
Oh, thank you, Bhante. And is the consciousness, is that in the mind? Is it in the brain, or is it?
That's a theoretical question. We don't have to settle that now.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you.
Okay. Mark?
Can you hear me now?
I could hear you, yeah.
Thank you, Bhante. Technical issues on my side. Very good to see all of you. Is it a spiritual bypass as we go through the 9 qualities to associate each with a figure either in our life, historical figure, fictional figure? I found that an easy way into moving from one to the next, as if I was surrounded by 9, people of different qualities that come out of each one of them as qualities of the Buddha. Is that too much of and this comes from the question before about not feeling affiliated or not having anything arise directly. For myself, I found it easier when doing this to associate one quality with, for example, Nelson Mandela. And immediately that breaks through for me a little bit of the distance between the quality and myself.
I don't think, I have to say, I don't think that would be the way what we're aiming at here. We're aiming to see these qualities in the Buddha himself, not in other people or not in other famous historical or literary figures, but just in the Buddha, the one we call Gautama or Shakyamuni Buddha. Yeah, so if other figures come to mind, tell them to go back to their dwelling place and keep the attention, the focus on the Buddha himself. The Buddha is the embodiment of those figures.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, we're going to return now to the practice. Okay, so so now take your familiar sitting position. And then close the eyes. Settle into the felt sense of the body. And then let the mind go to the region of the heart. Settle around the region of the heart. I'm getting echo. Okay, settle in the region of the heart. And then you can lightly, if you find it helpful, you can lightly visualize there a lotus flower with the Buddha sitting on the lotus flower. And then generate the feeling of respect, reverence, esteem for the Buddha. And then we will be going through the qualities, the 9 qualities, the 9 designations. I'm going to use less verbiage than in the morning. Okay, the Buddha is first Arahang, the worthy one. The one whose mind is purified of all the defilements, all the afflictions. Who has uprooted all the defilements, utterly pure, and the liberated one who is broken free from the cycle of repeated birth and death. Arahang. And in my pauses, you can keep on repeating the key phrase in each designation to yourself. You could use either the Pali, if you're familiar with that, or the simplest English rendering. You keep on repeating it and generating that feeling of reverence and esteem. Okay, the Buddha is Samma Sambuddho, the perfectly enlightened one, the one who has removed all obstacles to knowledge, who has fully fathomed the nature of all phenomena. Samma Sambuddho, perfectly enlightened one. Buddha is Vijja Charana Sampanno, one accomplished in clear knowledge and excellent conduct. Vijja Charana Sampanno, accomplished in clear knowledge and excellent conduct. The Buddha is Sugato, the fortunate one, the blissful one, the happy one, the one who has reached the blissful destination of Nibbana. Sugato, Sugato, Sugato. The Buddha is Lokavidu, knower of the world, one who knows all the different realms of existence, and the one who knows deeply the world of living beings, who sees deeply into the minds and hearts of living beings. The Buddha is Lokavidu, knower of the world. The Buddha is Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati, unsurpassed trainer of persons to be tamed, the one who can tame the most difficult, the most obstinate people. Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati, unsurpassed trainer of persons to be tamed. The Buddha is Satta Deva Manusanam, teacher of devas and human beings, the one who guides all human beings and even the devas, who guides us towards the good. Satta Deva Manusanam, teacher of devas and human beings. The Buddha is Buddho, the enlightened one, the awakened one, who enlightens others to the liberating truths. Buddho, the enlightened one, the awakened one. The Buddha is Bhagava, the Blessed One, the one richly endowed with abundant, excellent qualities of purity, wisdom, compassion, generosity, patience, loving kindness, equanimity. The one richly endowed with all meritorious qualities, who serves as the source of blessings for the world. So Bhagava, the Blessed One, the source of blessings. Okay, now come back to your body, to the felt sense of the body. Take a few deep, mindful in and out breaths. And then you can open your eyes and we'll do another session of the walking meditation. And again, you walk according to your accommodations, whether in a circle or back and forth. But again, mindful of each step, right step, then mindful of the touch of the foot on the ground, left step, mindful of the step and of the touch of the foot on the ground. Okay, and so we'll come back to our seats at 10 to 3, at 2:50. That's according to Eastern time. Okay, we're ready to resume. So now we'll go through the qualities again. And remember my simile of the 9 flavors of ice cream? So just as we put one little spoon of ice cream on the tongue and let it melt in the mouth, and in that way we enjoy the flavor of the ice cream. So we have these 9 designations for the Buddha, and we drop each designation into the pool of the heart. And then we try to appreciate the flavor, the meaning, the significance of that particular quality or designation. Try to understand the meaning of it, but also to respond to it from the heart with esteem, reverence, veneration, appreciation, letting a feeling of confidence and trust arise. And as that trust becomes stronger, it gives rise to a kind of tranquility of the heart and a feeling of joy, upliftment. Okay, so let us proceed. So the Buddha is Arahang, the worthy one, the fully purified one, the liberated one. And as I mentioned, each designation, you can repeat in your mind that designation either in Pali, if you're familiar with the Pali, or using the simple English rendering of it. Okay, the Buddha is Samma Sambuddho, the perfectly enlightened one. The Buddha is Vijacharana Sampanno, one accomplished in clear knowledge and excellent conduct. Vijacharana Sampanno. Buddha is Sugato, the fortunate one, the blissful one, the happy one. Sugato. Buddha is Lokavidu, knower of the world. The Buddha is Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati, unsurpassed trainer of persons to be tamed. The Buddha is Satta Deva Manusanang, teacher of devas and human beings. The Buddha is Buddho, the enlightened one, the awakened one. The Buddha is Bhagava, the Blessed One, and the source of abundant blessings for the world. Bhagava. Okay, we'll go through them again a little more quickly. And again, with each quality, let it sort of reverberate to the chambers of the mind, or let it sink into the heart and spread its flavor over the heart, or impart its meaning to the mind. Okay, the Buddha is Arahang, the worthy one, the fully purified one, the liberated one, Arahang. He is Samma Sambuddho, the perfectly enlightened one. Samma Sambuddho. He is Vijja Charana Sampanno, one accomplished in clear knowledge and excellent conduct. He is Sugato, the fortunate one, the blissful one, the happy one. He is Lokavidu, knower of the world. He is Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati, unsurpassed trainer of persons to be tamed. He is Satta Deva Manusanang, teacher of devas and human beings. He is Buddho, the enlightened one, the awakened one. He is Bhagava, the Blessed One, the one who has fulfilled all meritorious qualities, the source of blessings for the world, Bhagava. Okay, now come back to the felt sense of the body. Take a few deep, mindful breaths. And again, we rub the palms together, rub the palms over the face. Top of the head, back of the head, back of the neck, shoulder blades, then down the lower back to the buttocks. And you can massage that area a bit. Then down to the knees. And then if you've been sitting cross-legged, come to the feet and to the toes. Okay, we'll take now a 15-minute break. And so we will come back at 3:30 and start the next session at 3:30. And in that session, then we will start gradually to intensify the recollection of the Buddha. Are
We can hear
we
you.
coming through?
Yes.
Okay, so we are ready to resume now. And so again, take your familiar and accustomed meditation seat. And close the eyes. Settle into the felt sense of the body. Let the mind settle in the region of the heart. And then you can sort of lightly visualize or imagine a lotus in the heart with a Buddha sitting on the lotus. And now again, we're going to go through the 9 Buddha qualities, each time letting the quality or the designation sink into the mind, impart its flavor to the mind, and generate that feeling of esteem, admiration, reverence in the heart. Okay, the Buddha is Arahang, the worthy one, the fully purified one, the liberated one. Buddha is the Samma Sambuddho, the perfectly enlightened one. Perfectly enlightened one. The Buddha is Vijja Charana Sampanno, one accomplished in clear knowledge and excellent, impeccable conduct. Vijja Charana Sampanno. The Buddha is Sugato, the fortunate one, the blissful one, the happy one. Buddha is Lokavidu, knower of the world. Lokavidu. Buddha is Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati, unsurpassed trainer of persons to be tamed. Buddha is Satta Deva Manusanam, teacher of devas and human beings. Satta Deva Manusanam. Buddha is Buddho, the enlightened one, the awakened one, who enlightens, awakens others. Buddho. The Buddha is Bhagava, the Blessed One, endowed with abundant, excellent qualities, and the source of blessings for the world. Bhagava. Okay, we can do another round. The Buddha is Arahang, the worthy one, the fully purified one, the liberated one. Arahang. He is Samma Sambuddho, the perfectly enlightened one. Samma Sambuddho. He is Vijja Charana Sampanno, accomplished in clear knowledge and excellent conduct. Vijja Charana Sampanno. He is Sugato, the fortunate one, the blissful one, the happy one. Sugato. He is Lokavidu, knower of the world. He is Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati, unsurpassed trainer of persons to be tamed. He is Satta Deva Manusanam, teacher of devas and human beings. Sata Deva Manusana. He is Buddha, the enlightened one, the awakened one. And he is Bhagava, the Blessed One, the one endowed with most excellent, meritorious qualities, the source of blessings for the world, Bhagava. Okay, now come back to the body, the felt sense of the body. Couple of deep mindful breaths. And then you can open your eyes. And then again, as usual, rub the palms, stimulate the circulation. Okay, we'll do another session now of the walking meditation. Again, being mindful of each step, the movement of the step, and the contact of the foot on the ground, right, left, right, left. And then we will come back to our seats at 4:10 on Eastern Time. Testing, testing.
Bhante, we can hear you.
1, 2, 3, testing. Okay, so now we are going to continue with the practice of Buddhanusati, but now we're going to enter into the next phase of the practice. And now we are going to be simplifying the practice in order to build up stronger intensity in our recollection. And so what we are going to do, we've started with the 9 qualities or 9 designations of the Buddha. Now we are going to drop 6 of them and retain 3 of them. Normally, each individual practitioner would make their own choice in this respect, but I want us all to be practicing together. And so at the risk of being a bit domineering, I will choose the 3 designations that we'll be using. And I hope everybody can connect with them or make the effort. So these will be the 3 qualities that are usually mentioned in the line of homage to the Buddha. We always go, Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So these 3 qualities will be arahang, samma sambuddho, and bhagava. And I take them to represent respectively, arahang is the purity of the Buddha, is freedom from all defilements, all bonds and fetters. Samma sambuddho, perfectly enlightened one, since it signifies the Buddha's understanding of the true nature of all phenomena. So it points to the wisdom of the Buddha, the all-encompassing and profound wisdom. And then I take Bhagava, since it represents the Buddha's ability to have the Buddha's fulfillment of all the paramitas or the supreme virtues, and all of the supreme virtues are motivated by compassion. So we take Bhagava to represent the great compassion of the Buddha. Okay, so take your familiar sitting meditation position. Again, back straight and upright, but not stiff or rigid. Eyes closed. And if it helps, you can imagine the lotus in the heart and the Buddha sitting on that lotus in the heart. Let the mind settle down into the region of the heart. And then we bring the Buddha to mind, and we recollect the Buddha as Arahang, the worthy one, fully purified, the liberated one. I'm going to allow more time after each designation for you to keep on repeating that quality and letting the esteem, admiration, reverence, veneration arise in the heart, bubble up in the heart. Directing the mind to the Buddha, the one who is Arahat, the worthy one. And don't reflect on the qualities so much, trying to figure them out or work them out intellectually. But just let those expressions, those phrases, sort of sink into the heart or reverberate in the mind and do their own work of generating an understanding of the meaning. The Buddha is Samma Sambuddho, the perfectly enlightened one. Buddha is Bhagava, the Blessed One, the source of blessings for the world. Bhagava. Arahang, the worthy one, fully purified, the liberated one, Arahang. Samma Sambuddho, the perfectly enlightened one, whose knowledge has penetrated the true nature of all phenomena. Samma Sambuddho. Bhagava, the Blessed One, the one who embodies all excellent qualities, source of blessings for the world. Bhagava, the Blessed One. Arahang, the worthy one, fully purified, the liberated one, Arahang. Sama Sambuddho, the perfectly enlightened one, Bhagava, the Blessed One, the one of great compassion, who sends his waves of blessings out upon the world. Bhagava, the Blessed One. Arahang, the worthy one, the one who's fully purified, the liberated one, free from all the bonds to the cycle of birth and death. Arahang, the worthy one. Samma Sambuddho, the perfectly enlightened one, the one of unobstructed knowledge, whose wisdom penetrates the true nature of all phenomena. Samma Sambuddho, the perfectly enlightened one. Bhagava, the Blessed One, the one of great compassion, who sends the waves of blessings out upon the world. Bhagava, the Blessed One. Arahang, the worthy one, fully purified, the liberated one. Samma Sambuddho, the perfectly enlightened one. Bhagava, the Blessed One, the source of abundant blessings for the world. Bhagava. Okay, now return to the felt sense of the body. And do a couple of cycles of mindful in and out breathing. And then when you're ready, you can mindfully open your eyes. And again, we end the session with rubbing the palms and rubbing the palms over the face, top of the head, back of the neck, shoulder blades, then down the lower back to the buttocks, and then to the knees and the feet. Okay, we have some time now to take some questions. So if you have questions, the way to pose the question is by going to the participants box And then there should be a hand symbol at the bottom. So you can click that hand symbol and it will show that you have a question to ask. Let me just put the headphones in. Okay, Elena, you could unmute.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having this retreat, and thank you for taking my question. I sent you all kinds of blessings and gratitude for your compassion and kindness in our people.
Yeah, your voice is, your voice, Elena, Elena, it seems that your voice is not coming through. It's getting broken up into.
Now we are down to 3, but each one has several, or at least 2 or 3 nominations. And so I'm wondering if you could say just the Buddha is worthy,
Yeah, Elena, yes. Your voice is getting broken up into little sound packets so that the words are not coming through clearly. Maybe, how can you get the question?
I'm sorry. Can you
hear me?
It's
not your fault. It seems that there's some problem with the.
Hello, Bhante? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not working. The sound.
I will type the question. I will type it.
Yeah, I think if there's, is there a way that she could send the question through a chat box?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay, then you could type the question.
They can always send the question.
I'm sorry, Bhante. Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. It's not the problem. The problem is not the volume, but the system is breaking your voice up.
I will defer to someone else, Bhante. Thank you.
Okay, you could type the question in a chat box.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Okay, Punika.
Thank you, Bhante. Just a quick question. This may be a problem. While recollecting the excellent qualities of the Buddha, I can't help but sometimes I notice my breathing in and breathing out. And this is the long breathing in and breathing out as recollecting the Arahang Sama Sambuddho Bhagava. So is that a problem or?
It's not a problem that you notice the breathing, but you don't. Let me just. But one shouldn't be making a deliberate effort to coordinate the recollection with the breath. Just if you notice the breathing, just realize I've noticed the breathing and let it go. Don't try to follow the breath.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, this isn't the mindfulness of breathing, but this is recollection of the Buddha.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, Sud.
Thank you, Bhante, for taking my question. I just noticed that most of the time while I'm doing this meditation, I'm actually falling asleep. I'm not sure if there's like I guess today I just have a lot of sloth and torpor, I guess, in my mind. I don't know, but do you have any advice as to how to prevent yourself from falling asleep? I don't know why this is happening.
Normally we say that if you start to get drowsy, then sort of the remedy for that is to get up and then to do some brisk walking meditation. So here we're doing this in a large group, so I would just say that you have to try to invigorate the mind. But if it's the sleepiness is really coming on strong, then maybe you could just quickly get up and go to get some cold water and sprinkle cold water, splash cold water over the face, and then rub it in to help to dispel that drowsiness. But drowsiness is one of the 5 hindrances, and so it's quite natural that different hindrances come up. Okay, I see Ivan.
Hi, Bhante. I was just hoping to share with everyone who wished to send the question. They may use the Gmail account instead of the chat box, only because the chat box in Zoom is disabled. So the email would be the baostechhelp@gmail.com. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Okay, so when you finish asking the question, then you click to drop the hand. There's another symbol for lower the hand. That will show that you finished, that the question is finished. Okay, this is Young.
Bhante, thank you.
Yeah.
May I ask a question? I like all the nine qualities. Would you recommend still pick 3 to intensify?
Yes. Even though you like 9 qualities, but what we're trying to do is to build up samadhi or concentration. And so when we have the 9 qualities, that helps to, it sort of plants the seeds and helps us to settle the mind down and to get to generate that feeling of, what I call the feeling of respect, veneration, admiration for the Buddha. And then that helps to bring on the tranquility and then the joy and the delight. But now, in order to strengthen the concentration, we are reducing from the 9 to 3. So follow along here during this session, or during this retreat, follow along with the practice that I'm describing, going from 9 to 3. But on your own, after this retreat, you could continue to take up the practice of recollection of the Buddha. And then at that time, you could do all 9 qualities if that is what your mind inclines to.
Okay, I see. Thank you. And may I just say a tip for Elena? If I turn off the video, it may transfer better. That was my experience.
I see. Yeah, to lower the bandwidth, to reduce the bandwidth. Okay, let us take Jane Marie. Jane? Yeah, you have to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that, Bhante. It was giving
Okay.
me a message I couldn't do so as the co-host. And I'm sorry if I missed this earlier, but could you please provide a working definition to fortunate with respect to the quality of sugato?
Yeah, the way it's explained, it's exactly in the file that I sent out, that the Buddha is called the fortunate one. In fact, that's my rendering of Sugata, because sometimes the word Sugata is used in relation to Dugata. So Dugata is somebody who is in misery, who is like lost all their wealth, they're constantly sick and so on. And so Sugata is somebody who, in ordinary discourse, who has a reasonable degree of affluence, who is successful in their undertakings, who is healthy, and so forth. So that is person considered fortunate. But the Buddha is called Sugata, not in the sense of being wealthy and having good health, but in the sense that he's gone to a good destination, which is the attainment of Nibbana, and he's gone in the good way, that is, having gone through the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah, so that would be the meaning. But it's good to get familiar with the Pali words, because when we use English renderings, they bring along resonances and connotations which sometimes don't correspond exactly to the meaning of the original Pali word. Like for Bhagava, the last one, very hard to find a really good translation of that. So the older translators use Blessed One, and I follow that. But Blessed One, it seems to suggest that there's somebody who blesses the Buddha, but that's not the case. But rather, Bhagava means, the implication is that the Buddha is one who has acquired all excellent qualities, all these superior qualities. And so then I sort of try to get the sense of Blessed One by glosing it as meaning that the Buddha is a source of blessings for others, for the world, not that somebody has blessed the Buddha himself. Okay, Judy?
Yes, thank you, Bhante. I want to go back to sleeping. I have the opposite. I don't notice that I'm going to sleep. I'm doing just fine. And all of a sudden, it's like I wake up.
I see, while sitting in the meditation.
Correct. Well, I don't know, maybe in life also.
Yeah, that means that without noticing it, you must have gotten quickly, that the mind got cloudy and you fell off to sleep. So you have to be alert and not let the mind get overcome by that quick, sudden drowsiness. But don't worry about it if you wake up quickly. Just try to maintain a high level of alertness, of awareness.
So even if it seems to me that I'm alert, and then all of a sudden I've awakened.
Yeah, what's happened is that the mind has quickly lost awareness and dropped off into a momentary sleep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, one thing I should mention also, what I found is that when we reduce from 9 qualities to 3 qualities and spend a longer time on each of these qualities, what I find is that more deluded thoughts or distracting thoughts start to arise in my mind. And I think it's not that they're arising out of nowhere, but because one is increasing the concentration, that gives more chance to become aware of the distracting or deluded thoughts that tend to arise. It's somewhat like when you're doing the mindfulness of breathing, trying to focus on the breath, because it's very, very simple object, then there's the opportunity for many deluded thoughts to arise. And so the way to deal with these deluded thoughts when they arise is just keep on focusing on the particular quality of the Buddha. Just keep the mind on the quality. When the mind gets distracted, again, notice it and bring the mind back to that quality. So this is a way of taming the monkey mind. Okay, we have Ron.
Hello, Bhante.
Okay.
Bhante, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Bhante, thank you very much for your teachings. And I have a question. When we do these reflections, I was looking at number 4, and it says the Buddha's gone to the blissful state of Nibbana. But when we do the reflections, we keep saying the Buddha is the knower of the world, that he is the one who knows the minds and hearts of living beings. So I'm confused because when I read the recollections, some are in the past tense, the current tense.
Yeah.
Is the Buddha a living person, a living being in spirit and consciousness, where he still, after his death, knows our minds and our hearts? Or are we doing the recollection of someone who is dead?
Yeah, no, it's somebody who's passed away. He's not existing in some spirit realm.
So it's not like Christianity where you're praying to someone.
Yeah, no, we're recollecting the historical Buddha, Gautama or Shakyamuni Buddha, who's passed away, has gone into the final Nibbana. But these were the qualities that he possessed while he was alive. And so in a way, we could say the Buddha is still alive in the heart, but not that the Buddha is existing, still alive in some kind of spirit realm or some kind of heavenly realm.
So Bhante, the Buddha does not know our minds and our hearts right now?
No.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ask an ignorant question, but...
No, it doesn't. There's no ignorant question.
All right. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. But it's good, sort of, we imagine, in a way, we project ourselves back into the time when the Buddha is alive, like we're alive at the time that the Buddha was alive, or we imagine that the Buddha is still alive today and knows our minds and hearts.
So we're doing recollections, remembering the Buddha, not ourselves. It's remembering the Buddha.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, and then Sharon.
Hi, Bhante. I don't have the problem of falling asleep. I always have the problem of the monkey mind,
Yeah.
distractions. So I put up on my screen the picture of the Buddha that I'm especially fond of.
Yeah.
And so when I'm recollecting the qualities that I'm trying to, even though it's samadhi, well, I look at the picture of the Buddha, and it helps me maintain focus. But maybe it's a little, I'm not sure that it brings samadhi, deepens samadhi that much. But
no, I think it's good. It's good to have a image, picture of the Buddha, to focus on. So we're not doing this as a visualization exercise.
No.
Sort of the objective is not to visualize Buddha, but to bring to mind and to focus on the qualities of the Buddha. But it's helpful. I mean, I found this very, very helpful over the years to have a statue or a picture, an image of the Buddha. Sort of, sometimes we could have the actual picture in front of you to constantly remind you of the qualities that we're trying to recollect. And then once you get accustomed or familiar with the picture, then you could use a lightly visualized image while one is recollecting the qualities. So you sort of have that image of the Buddha as though the Buddha is present in front of you. And you're sort of lightly looking at the Buddha's image,
Yeah.
but turning over the qualities in the mind and sort of projecting them onto the image of the Buddha.
Yes, I use the image as reflecting the qualities that I'm
Yeah,
reflecting on. Yeah, it's kind of a two-way street there.
yeah.
Good. Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, so now we're at the end of our afternoon session. And so now we have a 2-hour break from 5 to 7 p.m. And then we'll come back at 7 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time, where we have the evening chanting and then a short Dharma talk. And then we continue into the evening session of recollection of the Buddha, where we're going to intensify the practice still more. Okay, so let us stand and end with 3 half bows to the Buddha.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Good to see you,
Thank
Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Come back at 7. Don't go away.
No, okay, Bhante. We'll be back at 7. Thank you.
Thank you, see you at 7.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah, come back at 7. Don't go away.
Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay.